Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This course was created to help buyers and sellers navigate a new reality in real estate. It's important to know a bit about the NAR lawsuit and settlement, so let's start there. It all started with the lawsuit, the Sitzer-Burnett case. Though there's been more cases brought since then, I do believe that one got the ball rolling. Here's the important but super short backstory. I promise not to bore you. In 2019, a lawsuit was filed against the National Association of Realtors, from now on called NAR, and other brokers. You'd know their names, you've seen their yard signs everywhere, alleging anti-competitive practices in real estate commissions. Things went back and forth in the courts for years, and to be honest, few real estate professionals thought anything would ever come of it. Fast forward to 2023, the Sitzer-Burnett trial concludes with a jury ruling against NAR and the other defendants. The case was won on the idea of improving clarity and transparency with real estate commissions. When you boil this whole thing down, this is what it's all about. Who am I paying? How much am I paying? And what am I paying for? Simple, right? Because they lost the court case and were facing a massive financial penalty in the billions, NAR reached a proposed settlement in, but not limited to, the structural changes in commission practices. In short, being more transparent and consumer-centric. Here's a couple of the changes. Number one, offers of compensation will no longer be shown on the MLS. It used to be all us agents could see the commissions being offered on a listing before we ever showed the house, but buyers couldn't. Now that's against the rules. I'll cover more about this in the next video, but just know for now, this is a big deal. Number two, if a buyer wants to tour homes, it's now mandatory that they sign either a buyer representation agreement or a touring agreement. The difference between a buyer rep agreement and the touring agreement is important. The buyer rep agreement is a fully executed contract between a buyer and buyer agent. The touring agreement is a no-fee, no-commitment workaround for getting to tour homes. Be aware that touring agreements may or may not be around long, because this is just a legal band-aid at best, and some brokers ultimately may disallow those. Here's just one example of how these new rules changes things. When a buyer signs a buyer rep agreement to tour homes, they've agreed to a certain commission amount for the buyer agent. It used to be pretty common that sellers would cover both agents in a transaction, and though they still can, the new rules makes it easier for a seller to offer less or nothing to a buyer agent. When they do offer less buyer agent commission than what's in the signed buyer agreement, the buyers, if they want to move forward with the home purchase, they may have to cover the difference in some way, like rolling into the loan or trading off down payment dollars or coming out of their own pocket at closing. As you can see, this opens up a whole new can of worms. It's a whole new layer of negotiations. When you hear the rules of real estate have changed, it's because in terms of negotiations, everything's on the table now. Everything. The goal of this course is to help you better understand what's going on, to help you know what's coming, and have some idea how to handle things. That way there's fewer surprises as you go through the process. Even if you're not familiar with how real estate worked before the recent NAR settlement, understanding the new rules is critical. It's changed the game. Now the phrase caveat emptor, buyer beware, has never been more relevant. Navigating a real estate transaction can be overwhelming, not to mention the new normal. The terms are confusing, the rules most certainly have changed. This course was designed to cut through the noise and give you a clear roadmap. I call it a crash course because it's concise and hopefully easy for you to follow. Let me be clear. The course doesn't replace professional representation and isn't a do-it-yourself how-to guide. Can you go it alone? Sure, but I don't recommend it. The information in this course is designed to help you and your agent become an unstoppable team. Think of this course as your playbook, and your agent, in my opinion, is your coach. So here's how you get the most out of this course. Number one, stay engaged. That means watch the videos and read the key takeaways. Number two, you might find it helpful to go through the course before you start talking to agents. Number three, take notes and revisit key concepts. They're actually pretty simple. Number four, when you do hire an agent, ultimately, keep communications open with them. As you go through this course, you may notice some overlap in some of the information covered, particularly around topics like written buyer agreements and commissions. My intent was to have each video stand more or less on its own so as to address the different issues you'll encounter in your real estate journey. Each video approaches these topics from a slightly different angle, providing valuable context and insights that can help you feel more confident and informed. So, if you hear familiar information, I think that's a good thing. It means it's sinking in. By the end of this course, you won't just feel more informed, you'll be more informed. You'll know how to make confident decisions in one of the biggest financial moves of your life. So let's get started.